Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our first vlog.
It is
Yay!
our first vlog ever.
Can you believe it? We've been wanting to do this for so long, since this year started, and it's taken us quite a long time to get it right.
I've been dreaming about this for a long time.
Even longer, guys. So we're really happy, and thank you so much for tuning in. Just to give you a heads up of what these vlogs are really going to be about, it's going to be Trish and I on the couch having some connect time and talking about relevant issues and current topics, and
things that come up when we're meeting with people and counseling people or conversation.
So often we have questions people are asking us and relevant issues that they're facing, and we can't deal with them all on a Sunday morning. We can't cover them all in one preach. And so this is basically like a midweek encouragement, and it's an opportunity for us to tackle some of the issues. So you are more than welcome to send us your questions or comments or queries or anything to the email on your screen, and or just propose topics for us, and we'd love to hit them for you guys.
Absolutely. And then maybe this could even be a resource if you need to give some advice or something to a friend.
Pass it on. Like, comment, share.
Oh my gosh, please don't ever say that.
So today, Trish, we are talking about an amazing topic, a very, very important topic. I'm going to let you introduce
a topic
it today.
that comes up so often.
All the time.
And it's not just because we come out of February and it's month of March now and everybody's still in the whole February love romance thing, but love and relationships comes up all the time.
All the time. Such a big deal. Hey?
Yeah, so that's what we're going to tackle today, and we're really going to be looking at marriage, particularly marriage that has a few years under the belt, maybe a number of children who are in the mix, because marital intimacy really changes when kids come along. And sometimes people are embarrassed to talk about it, or they're struggling and they don't know where to go, what to do. And so we're really just going to speak into marital intimacy. And we've called it
intimacy. That's what we're talking about.
Yes. What is the name of this?
Big, guys, come on.
This is the
give and receive.
And receive of marriage.
The give and receive of marriage. Yeah.
That's
that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let me set the stage for the typical scenario that we normally face, okay? The typical scenario on the guys, I talk with the guys, you talk with the girls, and the typical scenario on the guy side is is typically this, is I am just not getting enough sex with my wife. I'm not getting intimacy with my wife. It feels like I'm number 3 or 4 on her list. She always seems tired. She doesn't even seem interested. I don't even know if she cares about it anymore. And a lot of the guys I'm talking to, they're frustrated. It's such a big deal for guys. Sex in marriage is a huge part of marriage for guys. And so a lot of guys are frustrated. They're frustrated. They want intimacy with their wives, but they have no idea how to get it. And on the girl side,
like the wives so often are feeling exhausted, and they're feeling just like a husband doesn't understand that between the children, lack of sleep, working outside of the home, the number of demands on them and pressures.
Night feeds, waking up early, going to work.
And also being wired differently to a man.
Yeah.
That's their desire or their... just the awakening of marital intimacy, it's very deeply buried under all the demands that are on the woman.
Sure.
And so it becomes this taboo subject, doesn't it?
And so it feels like a lot of the girls are feeling like their romance itch is not getting scratched. Their husbands are actually just interested in sex and not interested in anything else, like deep conversation, meaningful conversation, that sort of thing.
Or making a bit of effort that maybe he used to make before you got married, or in the early years of marriage, when you had more time for each other. So
the love tank, or the it's not being scratched on the girl side and on the guy side. And the problem is this, guys, is that then we can build a wall in our marriages. Is this like my needs are not being met, her needs are not being met, and so there's this chasm between us. And intimacy is such an important part of marriage. It's not everything in marriage, but it is a very big part of it. When when you feel connected with your spouse and one with your spouse, and there's love and closeness and transparency, it just enriches our lives in such an amazing way. When our marriage is strong, like we can take on anything in the world,
But this can really be an area where the enemy can get in, and then you feel like it's broken and it can never get fixed again.
Sure.
And that's just not true, because wherever you find yourself in this particular topic, there is hope, and there is just so many different ways that this can be tackled.
So that's it, guys. Hope. We're just speaking hope over you today. There is a way. Okay, we're going to share with you 4 points on really just 4 keys, things you can practice in your marriage. Like right now, you can just maybe you even want to watch this with your spouse and talk about these 4 things. Maybe, write them down, whatever. Look at how you can implement them in your marriage, and it will seriously help you guys. It's helped us cross the big divide, but the
we've had loads
divide.
Of conversations around this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, over 17 years being married now, 2 teenage boys.
Wow.
We've got some history.
We've got a lot of history.
We've fought some battles.
So we want to share with you those now.
Yeah. So what's the first one?
So the first point we want to share with you is keep your love tank full.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, remember that. Keep your love tank full.
Your spouse has a love tank, and your job is to keep that love tank full.
That's right. So imagine just like between Trish and I, there's this like imaginary love tank.
Yeah, no, it's very real. It's not imaginary.
Okay, it's real. It's a real thing. It totally is a real thing.
It's a tank, and you've got to keep it full.
Yeah, and so we can go into marriage. We've called this the give and receive.
Sure.
Okay. Now we all want to receive
it's nice.
from the love tank, right? We all want to take from the love tank and enjoy from the love tank, but we don't always want to put into the love tank. Yeah.
Or we put into the love tank in the way that we receive love instead of the way our spouse receives love.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So Wayne, his love tank gets filled when I encourage him, especially with words and things like that. So if I'm going to go and buy him gifts, it's probably not going to fill the love
really
tank.
Do it, yeah.
Yeah, but you can buy me gifts.
Unless it's chocolates, I'm in.
Yeah.
Love tank, straight up.
That is. Chocolate's its own category.
Here's the point, okay? Is if you don't know, Gary Chapman wrote a book called The 5 Languages of Love.
Yeah.
And he spoke about there's gift giving, quality time, there's physical affection, there's words of affirmation.
And acts of service.
And acts of service. Those are like the 5
like
languages of love. And they're really ways that we communicate love to our spouse.
Yeah.
And if you're going to keep your love tank full, you've got to find the way that your spouse receives love. Is it acts of service? Is it gift giving? Is it quality time? Is it physical affection? What is the way in which your spouse receives? And then make sure that you deposit into your love tank through that.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to if you just keep withdrawing from your bank account, eventually you're going to have no money. You're going to go there's going to be nothing left. And I think this is where a lot of couples get to, is that we haven't been making deposits. We haven't put anything in, And so.
And then you want to make a withdrawal.
And then you want to make a withdrawal because you need a withdrawal, And it's like there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And so this is, guys, sow into your love tanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sow into your love tank. So
that's your first key point.
First key point is keep that love tank full. And another point is communication. And I've added to this not just communication, but to communicate kindly. Because you can communicate in a way that's not very kind, but it definitely gets your point across.
Yeah.
But communication in a kind manner goes really far in a marriage.
True.
Different couples communicate differently. So like Wayne and I, we can sit and we can talk face to face and we can talk about anything and everything.
Pretty much,
But we've got friends who don't feel comfortable doing that. So they actually write each other letters. So they write letters to communicate to each other. They communicate what they like in their marriage, what they enjoy in their intimacy. They use that as a platform. But it doesn't matter whether it's a face-to-face conversation or writing a letter or sending a WhatsApp or a voice note or an email if you have to. But communication is absolutely key. Because we've got to get into each other's heads and hearts and minds. And you don't just get that through osmosis. You actually get that by verbalizing and saying, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm going through. I'm under a lot of pressure at work. I'm feeling really stressed.
Yeah.
I'm so tired at the moment, or I'm not feeling well lately.
Yeah.
But it helps the partner.
Communication helps you find each other.
Totally.
Find each other, locate each other. It's like the GPS of a relationship. It's like you find out where the other person is at, and then you're going to be able to know what your expectations should be based on that.
Totally.
Yeah.
So there's a really cool scripture, because also I want to focus on the fact that we do it kindly. 1 Corinthians 16 verse 14, let all that you do be done in love.
In love, that's good.
So communicate, but communicate kindly, which expresses love.
We've got some good friends, and they have this thing where they come home from work and schooling, homeschooling,
Okay.
and they carve out time just to communicate with each other. They make
Yeah.
sure the dinner and everything is done, and then all the kids know, and they got a lot of kids, all the kids know that this is now mom and dad time.
Yeah.
And they don't disturb mom and dad. And mom and dad go into another room, and they sit, and they just talk. And they
That's so
catch
good.
up on their day, and they find each other. And I think that's a brilliant thing, especially if you've got young kids, to intentionally carve out that time just to communicate and find each other again.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Pretty
So,
good tip there, guys.
Very good. Okay, what's
Thirdly,
our next one?
all right, so first up was keep your love tank full.
Yeah.
All right, make sure your spouse's love tank's full. Then communicate. That's how we find each
And
other.
kindly. Communicate kindly.
And thirdly, we want to say this, let love win.
Yeah.
Let love win. So what typically happens in a relationship is that when we come looking for a withdrawal, when we come looking for a moment where we want to withdraw and we want to receive love, what happens is often is that we find that our spouse is not in that place. Like our spouse is busy, under pressure, not healthy enough,
And
not
your mind
strong
is in
enough.
a different place. You've
Yeah.
envisaged how this awesome night is going to
Yeah, you came home, you're thinking, this is tonight, it's Thursday night.
Tonight, baby.
And you came home to a wife and she's just not there. She's not there. She's
exhausted.
exhausted, tired, had a hard day with her boss or whatever. And so, and reverse it. Like, let's talk about the girls. The girls, okay, wait, we'll get there now.
Okay.
Let me share this firstly. So what do you do in situations like this when you let love win? Just let love win. Rather choose to put your own needs down.
Yeah.
And don't put it down in a like a
Begrudging way.
begrudging or like, oh no, me again, I'm not getting my needs met again. Rather put faith into it. The Bible says this, it says that love always wins. It always wins. Always wins. So whenever we choose love, he who lives in love lives in God and God in him. And when you choose love, let love win. What would love do in this situation? Love would get stuck in, help wife, give her a
the
foot
dinner,
massage, cook the dinner, do whatever.
Put the load of laundry on.
Love does that. And sometimes we think that's futile. Like, oh, I've done this and I got nothing out of it. Rather put faith into it.
Yeah.
And say, you know what, I'm sowing love into this
Totally.
moment. You will reap a love harvest if you sow love.
Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
for the girls as well, like sometimes you can see your husband's got a certain anticipation, a little bit of a
Twinkle
glint,
in his eye.
little glint in the eye, little smile across the dinner table, and you're going, oh, wow, okay, geez, you're awesome. I just think about that scripture when Jesus said, my command is this, love each other as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than to lay down his life for his friend. And you know what? Your spouse is your best friend.
That's good.
And if your spouse has needs and desires and you're not there yet, I'm telling you, you just pray and God gets you there. He really does.
Yeah, sure.
He meets you where you're at and he helps. If it's been a frustrating day with the kids or something, before you know it, the kids are in bed asleep and you're having a moment together to just connect and fill the
Sure.
love tank. And no greater love has any man just to lay down his life for his friend.
And it's simply asking what would make my spouse feel loved.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
Yeah.
Let me do that. That's
Initiate
that's
that
marriage.
love and
That is marriage. At the end of the day,
and
let
meet
love
your spouse
win.
where they're at.
Yeah. Cool. What's our
Totally.
final one?
Final one is forgiveness.
Okay.
Forgiveness for failures. You know what I mean? There's so often failures. We are flawed humans,
Yeah.
and failure is part and parcel of
And no
of our
marriage is
existence.
perfect.
And no marriage is perfect. And forgiveness is such a powerful weapon. It's
I
actually
like
a
that.
weapon.
It's a weapon.
It's a weapon
Yeah.
in the hand of the person who asks for forgiveness, and it's a weapon in the hand of the person who offers forgiveness.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah, it's powerful. Hey.
Very good.
So
Yeah.
what I love about it is that it invites grace. When you ask for forgiveness, you're inviting grace into
Yeah.
your marriage, into the situation.
And use those words. Please forgive me.
Yeah.
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 I'm sorry. I missed
I'm
it.
so sorry.
Yeah.
I've hurt you. Because,
Yeah.
a lot of people, when they're frustrated, particularly in this area, they tend to look outside of marriage
Yeah.
to solve it.
Yeah. True.
They're like, well, I'm not getting what I need in my marriage. So, that little click or that little engagement with that person, even if it's just going on in the mind, it's still needing to be forgiven of, because
Yeah.
it's like an infidelity.
Yeah.
So it's like when you ask for forgiveness, you're inviting grace into your marriage. I love what James 4:6 says. It says that God resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. When you ask for grace, when you ask for forgiveness, you're basically swallowing your pride. You're not making excuses. You're not playing the blame game, but it's your fault that I did this, or it's your fault because you don't do this for me. You're actually humbling yourself, and then you're inviting God's grace into the situation and the circumstance.
Yeah.
But then also likewise, when you're the one offering forgiveness, if you've been hurt, you've got a choice to make. You don't have to stay in your hurt. You don't have to stay in bitterness or take offense. You don't have to make the person, sweat and beg for your forgiveness. But when you just offer up your forgiveness, when you're swift to forgive, then you actually invite healing into your marriage.
Yeah,
so
too true. And when there's forgiveness, then we've got a clean start.
Yeah.
God's mercies are new every day. Let's give each other, our marriages, a clean start every day.
Absolutely.
And not keep this backlog of stuff.
Yeah. And I just feel like there's a real weightedness on this forgiveness point.
Yeah.
If you have messed up, there is hope. Okay? If you know that your spouse has hurt you, there is hope, because the power of forgiveness it's out of this world, and it's absolutely remarkable. We could tell you story after story of people who've actually offered up forgiveness, and then we've just seen such a transformation in their relationships.
It's been beautiful. Yeah. So those are the 4 tips we want to give you guys to sowing into your intimacy in marriage. What are they? Number 1 was keep the love tank full.
Keep the love tank full.
Number 2 was communicate kindly. Number 3 was let love win. And number 4 was forgiveness. Yeah. Guys, those are some points just to help you with intimacy in marriage. Our prayer is that your marriages will be super strong, super healthy, super intimate, giving and receiving love from both ends. And so if you have any comments or queries or questions, hit the email on your screen, and hopefully we can get back to you. Thank you for joining us for our first vlog.
Yeah.
Give me a high five, babe. Yeah.